I was thinking at the start of this we should, because we didn't quite explain what episode he was in
No.
Analysis. So should we do a
It'll
bit
be in the
here?
title, won't it?
Yeah. Is there anything that we could clarify at the top?
Yeah, just say we're interviewing Michael Fenton Stevens.
Oh yeah,
It's
we didn't
that
actually say
simple.
that, did we?
No.
We didn't say that.
No.
I
Should we
suppose
do it now?
I suppose if that's in the title.
So today we're interviewing Michael Fenton Stevens, who's a comedy actor who's been in absolutely loads of your favourite shows.
Yeah, including Only Fools and Horses episode.
Yeah, and we're very excited.
I hate the idea that I've got to sort them out.
Welcome everybody to
Welcome.
this episode of Chatterbix. Let's keep it in the top 3, keep the energy up.
It's in the top 5.
What, in the comedy charts?
Oh no, not
The fact that you're even thinking about the all category.
I'm an all
It's a new
category guy
world.
now. I'm an all category guy. Now we're
So am I.
I completely did look at it when we were nowhere near.
Yeah, now I look at the comedy chart. Yeah. I'm over that.
Comedy. Yeah, I'm second in the comedy charts. Yeah. Where am I in all categories, including politics?
We're ahead of Chris Ramsey, and we have been for a week. I think even if we slip down the charts now, we've got that on our
CV.
yeah.
I spoke to Ed Gamble about it, and he said he was so glad they weren't currently putting out pods in case we did beat them, because he doesn't think he could.
Oh, he had to slip that in, did he? That they're not putting out pods. We're only doing it weekly, mate. We're doing it half-assed.
That's regardless of how many we're putting out. It's quality. There's something that's bugging me. I don't know if I should say this, but when we get a guest on, we offer them a T-shirt, don't we? A Chattervix T-shirt. And the last two,
expensive, isn't it?
yeah, it does add up, but that's not my point. But the last two people haven't. Michael's here.
Hello.
Hello, Michael.
Hello, where am I? Put my picture on. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Hey,
There I am. Hey.
oh wow,
Looking gorgeous.
Yeah.
you are.
Oh, I saw you.
You are. What fucking time is this?
Sorry,
Yeah, I'm so
That's
sorry.
all right. That's right.
I don't know why we
You've got to,
do it.
got to get on with your day. That's what I think is important.
I quite like the early morning energy.
Well, yeah, we bring so much positivity to the world.
It's frightening.
Yeah,
It's just I've listened, and as you can see, I'm fantastically energized.
oh God,
I hate it when our guests say
I
that.
know. I hate it when I hear listeners have just heard it as well.
Well, I wanted to know what
embarrassing.
was required of me, and then I realised nothing.
If your internet works, you're ahead of us, basically.
Ah, right.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
Yeah,
then
exactly. You're
I've got
already-
I've got fast internet. That's,
yeah. You're in our
yeah,
top,
I'm in charge here.
top 5 eps already because nothing.
Do you want me to record this at my end?
See, already you flummoxed us.
I know. It's a technical question.
I'll be honest with you, Michael. I've
No, I
realised
think
I
we're
haven't been
recording.
recording my end, so
That's all right then.
God.
But sometimes the internet, it lets us down. That's all I'm saying.
Do you know
Doesn't
what?
matter.
Could you record your end, Michael?
It works. It works much better if I do. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you,
Then I
Joe.
can send you. I can send you my my recording of whatever
Yeah.
from my end. It would just be my voice.
Yeah, it'll be
perfect.
luscious.
You don't suppose you want to
perfect.
produce our podcast going forward, do you?
I am. Unfortunately, this is about as technical as I get.
Well, you're ahead of us.
You know. You know, my son does everything. My son, strange connection.
Yeah.
Are we on? We're on.
Yeah,
we're on. We're off and running. Yeah.
My son, whose name's John Fenton Stevens, used to be in a band called Paisley Grammar years ago, and they were a great band, but then they fell into that trap of all thinking that they were famous before they were famous, and started to disagree. You know, I want to go this way. I don't want to do all these gigs. Why can't we just?
They disagreed with one another inside.
Yeah,
right. Okay. Right.
And so sadly, it fell apart. But they were a really great band.
Yeah.
Now Benny was the lead singer and one of the co-writers of the band Paisley Grammar, and he was at school with Jim Archer.
Was he?
He was.
Oh.
Who directed your film?
Yeah, who directed Brian Johnson. Jim also went to school with a guy who's in the guitarist of a band called Everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
I know. My son's worked with him as well. But he's done mixes of their stuff and everything. It's they're a great band, Everything.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim's a great guy. It's a great school.
It's a great school.
Is
it Uppingham, I think? I think it's Uppingham.
Uppingham. I did it. Is that in the Midlands? It's like a private school in the Midlands or something.
It's something like that, sort of Norfolk, but over a bit.
Yeah. I did a gig there. Oh God.
Oh, it's got a great theatre.
Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I filled it with utter shit.
You did.
Oh no.
You did.
I'm just having
you went into the theatre.
Oh God.
Without realising that the entire everybody who comes out of that school is going to basically run the industry.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a nightmare.
Your career in 5 years' time is fucked.
Oh my God, I had such a bad gig there.
Did you really?
Yeah, well, I was doing this tiny tour, and it was the only one that paid well, and it was like, oh, that one pays well, and then they went, yeah, it's kind of a sixth form college.
Right.
So all the audience were like 15 and 16.
That might have been Jim. Like he's 30,
God.
you know.
Oh my God, it might.
That.
Almost certainly, which is why you weren't in the film.
Yeah, 100%. Oh God, I'm literally having. Yeah, it was so bad. But I did in my head. It went at least
that school, that drama department of that school was run by Chris Richardson, who was the man who started the Pleasance Theatre.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh God, yeah, I can't get.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, there was sort of a big tribute to him, and lots of people went up and said, you know, this is the man who first put me on in Edinburgh and all that sort of thing. And I don't think he's with us anymore.
Michael, here's another Richardson. Did you ever work with Peter Richardson?
I did, yeah.
Oh, because he lives 5 minutes down the road from me. I really want to meet him.
I haven't seen him for years and years. We did the opening night of the comic strip when it was a venue, yeah.
No,
which was
no way.
Yeah, I know it's weird, isn't it?
Your career, honestly.
Yeah.
I have had a
so
weird
much
career.
we want to ask. It's killing us.
I went. We were as the Heebie-Jeebies, which is a sort of pop parody group that I was in, where we did takeoffs of other groups. But firstly, the Bee Gees, and they asked us, "Will we sing the song?"
Yeah.
And we said, yeah. Can we do some sketches as well? And they went, you can do sketches if you like. And we went, okay. So there were lots of people like, well, Rick and Aid were on. I mean, I suppose a lot of people were doing sketches. So Rick and Aid was sort of doing sketches.
What year was this?
That would have been 82.
Were they doing Dangerous Brothers?
Dangerous Brothers, yeah. We are the Dangerous. They also did the Vanessa, the poet thing.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Rick,
so
absolutely amazing.
Who else was on that night? Who would have been?
Alexi, Keith Allen. What's his name? Brown. Who was that? Arnold Brown.
Yeah.
Arnold Brown. Yeah. Yeah, but not Dawn and Jennifer. They came later. Yeah. In fact, I sat in on the audition.
I really want to make friends with them.
Hoping you're a bit of a conduit into.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't work. You're just moving into someone's area doesn't make you their friend.
I'm
doesn't work that, does it?
Can we be friends?
Do you live near me? You can only be my friend if you live near me.
All celebrities are like that, David. They'll only be friends with people in the same postcode.
It's true.
Well,
they gather together. They gather together for safety.
I thought it'd be that little moment that you had, Joe, on the seafront with Julia Davis.
Oh, don't.
You've never met her before, but you nodded.
Yeah, I nodded, and you looked blankly at me, and rightly so.
Yeah, quite right.
That was
Michael.
Yes.
I mean, the main reason we wanted to get you on is because
Do I owe you money?
We will after
I met
this.
you in 1998.
And you were scamming around London.
Is Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah. Yeah, God, it's an amazing thing, isn't it? Only Fools.
Yeah.
It's astonishing that still, I mean, almost daily, people go to me, all right, mate, Groovy.
Oh, the Groovy gang, the Groovy gang.
And I go, what? How? Because, I mean, well, all right, you could, I'll say it before you do, obviously, but I've aged well.
We were thinking it.
You were
Yeah, very, very quietly. We were thinking, I won't say that.
It'd be weird if we said straight away that you've aged well in the first
it would sound false. And if anything comes out of this podcast, it's the genuine nature of the whole thing.
Exactly.
Oh, you have done your research.
Yeah, it was a brilliant job. I was thinking about it the other day, and I've always thought that I got the job because of my, sort of that I looked like a holiday rep, quite a good-looking bloke, and in those days, and and my comic timing. I thought, that's why they chose me. But I think actually it's because I had the same agent as David Jason.
Oh, did you?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
did you?
So I just said, she rang up and said, do you want to be in Only Fools and Horses? They've got this part. And I said, yeah, okay. I had the day before been offered a commercial, which was for recent shoes for Germany. It was 10 grand to spend 2 weeks in the Seychelles.
Okay.
And you turned that down, obviously, to do...
I turned it down to do Fools, Only Fools and Horses.
How massive was it then when your agent phoned?
So I was in series 6, I think.
Because it was the longer
it just moved to the 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was huge, absolutely huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very exciting thing to do but actually incredibly welcoming immediately. When you go into those things and you think to yourself, oh, for God's sake, this is going to be terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm going to let them down.
Yeah.
No, it was just brilliant, and that was largely down to David Jason and Nick Lyndhurst, and Tony Dow, who was the director of it, who I've worked with a number of times over the years. We did Nighty Night together and all sorts of stuff. So he's cool. He was very friendly, and David did this thing right from the start of saying, don't go, stay. Don't just come in, do your scenes, and then go. Hang around.
Oh, right.
And we went, okay, yeah. So often we would rehearse our stuff, and then I used to hang around and go on the book. He said because he'd rather have an actor on the book than sort of one of the stage managers.
The lines for other scenes and stuff, you mean?
Yeah, because he said, you'll know when I'm doing a comic pause rather than I've forgotten the words.
Right.
And he encouraged us all to go and have lunch with him. He said, don't go off and buy something, come and have lunch. And we would go upstairs we were in the acting rehearsal rooms. And he said, come upstairs. We went upstairs. And of course, in those days, everything that the BBC did was rehearsed in this one building.
Yeah.
So this canteen was absolutely rammed with famous people.
Oh, wow.
Everybody from the telly.
And where was that? Was it in...
right near North Acton Tube Station.
Oh, okay.
There was a great big sort of 8-story building. And on each floor, there were 3 rehearsal rooms, big rehearsal rooms, so they could lay the tape on the floor and put full stores up and stuff. And everybody was rehearsing. So all the dramas were being done there and all the comedies. And David used to play this game at lunchtime, which was rather cruel, but you'll obviously like it.
Undoubtedly.
If I can judge anything by things I've seen you do. But he played a game called Look Away, where he said, pick the most famous person in the room. He said, right, got to pick the most famous person in the room, obviously apart from me. He said, so just look around and just, quietly pick someone. So I looked around and went, Nigel Hawthorne. He went, okay, what we do is during lunch, we slowly look across to him and just, if we catch his eye, we just nod, like you did with Julia Davis. And you just keep doing it until he acknowledges you. and then you look past him. It's wicked, isn't it? And you, out of the corner of your eye, you can see these very famous people sort of crumble and get embarrassed and think, oh shit, they weren't looking at me.
That's a great game, David.
Great game.
It's a very great... In a room full of famous people. How?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God! Can I ask what was it like getting the script, one of John Sullivan's Crypts, and reading it? Because did you get it a few days before? And
Yeah, I did. Only sort of a few days before we did the read through, and then and you thought, oh, this is a doddle. It's another thing where you read the script and you think to yourself, oh, you can't fail with this. Wow. I mean, that scene, the scene that I did in the airport.
Yeah.
Where I basically have to look at. Although David Jason was very particular about that, he said, "You are going to do it right, aren't you?" And I said, "Well, let me do it, and you tell me if it's right."
That's stressful.
Oh my God!
And he said, "Okay, go on then." So we stood up. I said, "We'll stand up, Nick." And I did it, and did the thing of turning and looking at his chest, and then looking up. And he said, "That's it. That's right."
Wow.
But he was very concerned that I wouldn't understand that comically, because he'd done so many farces and things over the years, and he knew exactly how to. Yeah. That moment would be, that look at the chest first, because you're expecting to see a child.
Yeah. It's such an amazing. It's one of my favourite eps. It's just.
It's a lovely episode, isn't it? And amazingly, it didn't have an end until only I think the day before.
They didn't have the lottery thing. No, you're kidding.
No, I'm not. No. I mean, he knew that was going to be a
run through it, but
that was why it was. He sort of went back and fed that back into the story.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
what? Up until you almost
a couple of days before, I think. But everybody came in every day and said, "What about this? What about this, John?" And we were all sort of suggesting ways it could end, because he said, "I can't think of a twist. I need a twist." They always had a twist, and he said, "I can't think of one." So and then. I think it was David Jason, who said, "Well, what if they win the lottery? That would be good." But it turns out that the money they win is actually only about £100.
And then
that was his idea.
Then he got the idea.
And he went, "Oh, hang on, no, I've got it. Make it worth a lot of money, but you fiddled the passport."
Yeah, and so you have to be 18 to be in the.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because that's like.
Amazing, isn't it?
It is.
John Sullivan's break. Obviously, God, it's sort of nice knowing that even John Sullivan struggled sometimes, because like the amount of genius ideas.
Oh, the jokes that were thrown away. That's the thing. Is
that never made it in.
Yeah, because they went from 30 minutes to 40 because he was always writing 10 minutes too much, and they said, "Well, this is such a waste." So they extended the time, made it a 40-minute sitcom, which is
they did it because he just wrote too much funny stuff.
Too much, and then of course he wrote 50 minutes.
Flipping hell!
I read a book about John Sullivan that he when Grandad died, he only had about 2 weeks to write the episode. He wrote it in about 10 days or something.
But then he would have to rewritten everything. With
he had loads on the go very quickly.
Yeah, but he always had
astonishing.
He always had like 3 sitcoms he was writing a year.
Yeah. Yes, I know.
I just found it
the churning that stuff out. A team of writers would struggle, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah. But the great thing is, I had a very strange party. I went to be one of those sort of come on, all the what were called creatives. I don't know why I was there.
But I'm good.
Well, probably that was it. Eye candy, absolutely eye candy. That's me.
Shove him in the corner.
Come on. You'll tell us that anecdote about only fools and horses again.
again.
But I bumped into John going in, and he said, "Should we go and have a pint first?" So we went and had a couple of pints in a pub over the road. Then we went across because he said, "I hate these things." And I said, "Do you come with me? I'll be all right. I'll show you how to do it."
Yeah.
And we did. We stood in a corner, and everybody came up and was just saying, "Hi, Mike." Around, going, hi. This is John, and going, "Hello." People going, "Hello." They had no idea who he was. No. Oh. And he never once went, "I'm John Sullivan."
The fact that you and him just went to the pub.
I know. That's all I was thinking about. I was like, damn it.
Should have stayed there, really. Although, actually, very strangely, and I think. If you know them, you should ask them if this is the case. Did Charlie Brooker and his wife, Connie, did they meet at that party? Ask them, because if they did, I introduced them to each other.
Oh.
Yes. I was talking to her.
A party, this.
It was. I was talking to her, and he came up, and I went, "Oh, look, Charlie, this is Connie." And he went, "Hi." And I think that's the first time they ever met.
Wow.
Bloody
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. Does that mean something's going to happen between me and Joe?
Well, very much so. Joe, this is Dave.
Oh. Not for me.
What a letdown.
I think
so there we are.
What was it like the first? I don't know if you remember any of this, but what was it like when you first acted, like rehearsed with him as Del Boy? Can you remember any of that?
Yeah, well, because I do. I mean, I was very nervous.
Were you? Because I get really nervous about acting, like to the point where I'm paralysed and I can't take jobs.
With people, particularly with people that you know are brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, so I mean, hopefully we'll never get to act together because you'll be terrified.
Exactly. Well, I'm quite comfortable now.
Yeah.
Weirdly put us at ease, Mike.
Great. You should try acting with me.
Can you turn?
And it's really nothing to do with my brilliance that makes you terrified.
I'll just be gazing into your crystal blue eyes.
David, snap out of it. Sorry.
Drown in those pools. That's it.
Can we put a cloth over it?
Well, it was brilliant actually because he was fantastically encouraging. He would laugh a lot at what people did and go, "Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant." It was really encouraging all the time, and then was very jolly all the time. It encouraged you to be involved in things. They had this game that they played every week when they did the camera rehearsal. Everybody in the crew and the cast made a paper plane, and we were on the 7th floor of this Acton building, and we would throw them out the window, and whoever went the furthest got a bottle of champagne that David supplied.
He sounds like a great guy.
It was absolutely fabulous. I mean, you do hear people say, "Oh, he's difficult, David Jason. He's hard to work with," and I think that always, when you hear that, that's because that person wasn't doing it very well.
Right, and he cares.
Right.
Yeah.
And he really wants it to be done right, you know.
Yeah. I mean, were there any moments where he thought, "Oh, that's good," like little decisions he made in character?
Brilliant. Well, just business, actually. He was always adding bits of business.
Yeah.
So you don't really notice it when you're watching it. There's a little moment where he goes to pick the phone up and Nick pushes his hand down and he goes, "Ow."
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's a tiny little moment. But they rehearsed that for about 15 minutes. He said, "Oh, I'll do it. And let me get to about to talk. Then you grab my hand, put it down, but push me all the way down." It was a piece of, technical business that he made sure he got right.
I heard that Nicholas Lyndhurst said when he first started working with him on Only Fools, he realised that David Jason's character, or Del Boy, the way he played him, was he would be flitting around the flat, sort of like a house fly. So Nicholas Lyndhurst made the decision to just stay still. And you can't have two characters, so he just remained quite a still character, as Rodney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good decision, isn't it? I mean, it's interesting how those things work out because clearly Nick was cast because he was very tall.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be playing it opposite Jim Broadbent.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, he's very tall. They would have looked like brothers, possibly.
Yeah.
And then suddenly in comes this tiny person.
So much better.
And John then starts constantly just slightly digging away at that furrow.
Well, they thought it was going to be a problem.
It might have a different father.
Yeah, because they thought it was going to be a problem because they were like, "Will anyone ever believe that these two are related?" Basically.
Right.
Yeah. But John went, "No, it gives me another gag."
Amazing. And
it's brilliant.
Like Nicholas Lyndhurst, I saw an interview about Nicholas Lyndhurst, and John Sullivan adored what Nicholas Lyndhurst did, didn't he? And he would sometimes write, "Nicholas will come in and be funny here."
Yeah,
he trusted him so much.
I think that's there's a scene where he comes in having been skateboarding in the episode that I did.
Yes.
And
he's got all the headgear on and everything.
He just stands there holding the thing with all the stuff.
He looks so angry, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but he just and it's got the brilliant come down because he's so angry. And he said, "You're right. All right. So wait, come." He said, "I came third." He said, "What do you mean? You were in the lead when I was watching?" He said, "Yeah, Foxy Lizard." Such a faraway line. It's genius. And then it completely bursts. It completely bursts that sort of anger.
Yeah. I think that's the scene. If I remember it rightly, you can almost see David Jason wants to laugh because I've watched it so many times.
You may be right.
Because the laugh goes on for so long and they're sort of cutting between the two. And there's no way David Jason hasn't got the bit of his lip going. I've watched it so many times.
I think you may be right, yeah. There are a couple of things in that. They had to retake the scene in the pub. And in fact, quite a lot of the scenes they did again in order to get fewer laughs. Because the audience was so excited. You can imagine the audience had come to see Only Fools. It was a massive show. They roared with laughter. They almost gave a round of applause on every funny line. And it's too much.
Yeah.
So they would do the scene again and get a lesser reaction.
They did that with Miranda. They had to do that with Miranda.
I'm sure, yeah.
They literally had, because they were like, oh, gosh, 15 minutes of extra stuff just because everyone's laughing for so long.
Yeah,
I'd love to have that.
Yeah, you've got to speed up. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Nice problem to have. But yeah, they speed up. The scene in the pub, the line, which I think may be one of my favourite lines in all of Only Fools, is the one where he's talking about buying condoms because he's going to go away with Cassandra.
Oh yeah.
He says, he said, I've tried to buy them, but he said there's a stigma attached. And then David Jason leaves the perfect pause, and then says, "Now that's a bit of silver paper. You throw that away." It got such a huge laugh that they had to do it again.
How does John Sullivan just? It's like
I know,
his brain is wired differently. Just when, but like you say, the amount is frightening. Like, because for my sins, I go back and I just put Only Fools and Horses in and just find new scenes that someone's just clipped and put on. And it blows my mind. You just go, I don't even remember that, and that's brilliant.
No.
The quality is so high that's not even.
And they're not the most memorable things from that. They're just another line.
Yeah.
And in any other sitcom, they would be the most memorable.
Yeah.
Aren't they? I had. I mean, I'm delighted. I don't think he knew I was doing it, but I recorded an episode of my podcast with David Jason.
Did you?
Yeah. I went to the Ivy. He said, yeah, I don't mind, Mike. Okay. So I went to the Ivy and we had lunch. And he just sat there and talked to me about comedy timing, history of what he'd been doing, all sorts of things. Absolutely amazing. And at the end of it, he sort of went, okay. And it's lovely because he sort of went, bye, and just tootles off. And when I said it to him, I said, I'm going to give it to you first to make sure you like it. And he said, oh, right, is it going out then? I said, yeah. And I think he was thinking, what radio station?
Right.
I didn't have a faintest idea what it was.
Yeah. Weird, because he's banging to Chatterby.
He's
strange.
Every bloody week can't get him off the thing.
You should ask him on.
Oh, my God.
I think he'd do it.
We have.
Yeah.
I'd pass
I know his agent.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I'd cope.
No, it's funny, but he's getting on a bit.
Yeah.
Naturally, like all of us, as we start to get on, we can ramble around a bit, But the core of everything that he said was just genius.
Yeah.
It was so clear, his view of comedy and how to do it, and it wasn't clowning. It was detailed.
Yeah.
It's always detailed what he does.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, I said it to him, and he said, yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice, Mike. It sounds like we're just chatting. I said, well, we were just chatting. He said, yeah, actually, could you take all the fucks out? That's how relaxed he was, which is lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. We weren't fucking one another way.
Can you take out the foreplay, please, Mike?
Oh, brilliant!
It was also his idea for the costume, wasn't it? Because
the look of the whole thing.
Yeah, because he was going to be sort of scruffy, wasn't he?
Yeah. But he said, no, those. Well, I think him and John Sullivan, they sort of knew those people.
Yeah.
You know those people in the pub. They're sort of my uncles, really. All my uncles are dockers, all from Bermondsey. And so, I've taught myself to speak like an actor, but underneath it, I'm not really. And they all talk like, hello, son, you all right? Yeah, go on. No, go on, treat yourself. Yeah. That's all my uncles are like that. But they always, if they went out, they went smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you? You've done quite a few studio sitcoms, haven't you? You've done One Foot in the Grave.
I have done One Foot in the Grave. Yeah. It's only. I mean, I do one episode of things and then I get found out.
But how are you? Oh God, what I've just said. How are you performing in front of a live studio audience? Because have I done that?
I quite like it. I like performing in front of people. I do get nervous, obviously, and I've had the most extraordinary experiences. I was once waiting to do an episode of As Time Goes By, with Judi Dench.
Judi Dench, yeah.
Yeah, and Jeffrey Palmer.
Yeah.
Brilliant. They're brilliant performers. And, and it was
stress me out.
Yeah, quite. Not only that, I was about to go and do a scene. The first scene lasted about 7-8 minutes, and it was them discovering me in their house. And I then cooked them breakfast and demonstrate that I know everything about this house, although they've never met me before. So their daughter has been keeping me secret, as it were.
Yeah.
And I had nearly all the lines. They would sit there and go, yes, thank you.
Oh, my God.
So I had 7 minutes of just talking and cooking breakfast.
And yet...
And I was standing waiting for the start of the show, sort of up the stairs, the false stairs, and I was going to come down as they came through the front door.
Okay, just run away. Just run away.
I know, yeah, I felt like it, and I was sort of about to wet myself with fear.
So how much were you on your lines? Obviously, you knew them. But
really, I just the only thing in those situations is to go, look, I can do this without even thinking. I can do this in my sleep.
Yeah.
So I had gone over and over.
But were you rehearsing for like a week though, or longer? Because a week doesn't feel long enough for that kind of.
Not really a week, less than a week usually.
How's that in? That's so because it's. That doesn't seem long enough to me. You know what I mean? Like,
No. I suppose you get into the habit of it, don't you? You get into the habit of learning that quickly. So you're off the book after the first. You do the read through, then you block it, and this was true of David and Nick. The next morning when they came in, they'd learned a 40-minute script. They had the script down, and they needed the occasional prompt, but most of it they had in their heads, and they were doing that every week for sort of 10 weeks. Incredible. Yeah.
Wow.
But Judi Dench came up to me. She called up the stairs. She went, Mike. And I went, yes. And I thought, not now. Don't talk to me now. I'm terrified.
Not now, Judy.
She looked around. She went, oh, frightening, isn't it? I went, yeah. And she went, it's all right. We'll be together.
Oh.
And off she went.
God!
All the fear went out of me.
Really?
I know I've mentioned it before, but she lived in the next village.
David is in LA. Are you in LA?
You do realise I'm going to get letters from all my friends saying bloody house prices around here have just plummeted.
Yeah, she did. I used to see her at the shops. Her and Michael, her husband.
Yeah.
What? You've never said that?
Yeah.
Michael Williams.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, why have you never
Yeah.
brought that up?
I could show you her house.
He knows all sorts of people.
Morning,
He doesn't have to tell you everything, James.
Well, I know, but that I would love. All the other
That's so
nonsense.
sweet
That's
of
a
her
thing.
to do that.
A really, really gorgeous thing. Actually, I
Yeah.
always find that in a way, the bigger the person, the more famous they are, the more generous they can be.
Yeah.
There's no reason for them not to be. It's very strange when you meet someone who is ungenerous, I think.
Yeah. At that level.
Yeah.
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 Who just thinks, no, this is all about me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention the ones I have come across.
No.
Because we'd be in big trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do a little off pod.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about Kate Robbins.
Yeah, no, don't talk about her.
Yeah, she is a problem. Yeah,
Your
we've all
problem,
been
isn't it?
through a Robbins rap. Oh.
We did 2 comedy series together. Weird thing to be thinking back on it now. We were we were in the Ant and Dec slot on ITV. That's how big her show was.
Man.
She did the Kate Robbins show on ITV at 7:00 on a Saturday night.
Wow.
No pressure.
Yeah. No, and she was very funny. Her and her brother Ted.
Really
it was great fun.
Ted, yeah. In fact, the only sitcom I've been to watch was it's called King Canute. It was a Rick Mayall one.
Right.
Written by the 2 guys that do Birds of a Feather. Anyway, Ted Robbins was the
Warm up.
Yeah, warm up that night.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I once did the voiceover for a game show. Simon Mayo was hosting it, and I used to go, "Hello, welcome to," that sort of voice, and our contestants tonight are. It's ridiculous.
Can you talk like that for the rest of it? Because
I'll keep that voice up. Yeah. But Ted,